Captain Jake Morrison stood on the bridge of the UES Liberty, staring at the vast darkness of space. The ship had been traveling for 6 months, carrying 200 brave souls on humanity's first journey beyond the solar system. Jake was a simple man, from Texas, who had worked his way up through the ranks. He never thought he would be the first human to meet aliens. The Liberty was not built for war. It was an exploration ship designed to find new worlds and make peaceful contact with other life forms. The crew included Chief Engineer Lisa Parker, a smart woman from Ohio who could fix anything. Tactical Officer Ben Carter was a former Navy man from California who hoped they would never need weapons. Communications Specialist Amy Rodriguez from New Mexico could speak 12 Earth languages and was ready to learn alien ones. For weeks, they had found nothing but empty space and dead planets. Then, on a quiet Tuesday morning, everything changed. "Captain," Amy called from her station, her voice tight with excitement. "I'm picking up signals, multiple ships closing fast on our position." Jake felt his heart speed up. This was it. First contact with alien life. He had dreamed of this moment since he was a boy watching the stars from his family's farm. "How many ships?" he asked. "3 large vessels, sir. They're big, much bigger than us." Ben Carter checked his instruments. "They're slowing down. Looks like they want to talk." The main screen flickered to life, showing 3 massive ships that looked nothing like human designs. They were sleek and silver, covered in strange symbols that seemed to glow with their own light. Each ship was at least twice the size of the Liberty. "My God," whispered Lisa from her engineering station. "Look at the technology on those things. Those aren't chemical rockets. I can't even tell what's moving them." Jake straightened his uniform and tried to look calm. "Amy, open a channel. Let's say hello." Before Amy could respond, a deep voice filled the bridge. The aliens were already talking to them, and somehow the ship's computers were translating the words into English. "Unknown vessel, you have entered. Space controlled by the Galactic Empire. I am Admiral Vextar of the Imperial Navy. State your species and purpose immediately." Jake looked around at his crew. They all seemed as nervous as he felt. "This is Captain Jake Morrison of the United Earthship Liberty. We come in peace, seeking to establish friendly contact with other intelligent life." There was a long pause. Then Admiral Vextar spoke again, and this time he sounded angry. "Earth? We have no record of this species. Your vessel will surrender immediately and prepare to be boarded. Resistance will result in your destruction." Jake's mouth went dry. This was not how first contact was supposed to go. "Admiral, I think there's been a misunderstanding. We're explorers, not enemies. We just want to talk. All unknown species must submit to Imperial authority. This is not a request. Lower your defenses and prepare for boarding." Ben Carter was studying his tactical display with growing concern. "Captain, they're moving to surround us. 3 ships forming a triangle around our position." Lisa was working frantically at her engineering console. "Jake, I'm reading massive energy signatures from those ships. Whatever weapons they have, they could turn us into space dust in seconds." Amy looked up from her communications station. "Sir, they're sending some kind of scanning beam. It's trying to penetrate our hull." Jake made a decision that would change the course of galactic history. "Lisa, raise all shields. Ben, bring our defensive systems online. Amy, keep trying to talk to them. Maybe we can work this out." What happened next shocked everyone on both sides. Admiral Vextar, commanding from his flagship, watched his crew work. The Zephyrians had ruled the galaxy for over 1,000 years. Every species they had ever met had quickly surrendered when faced with Imperial might. This unknown species would be no different. "Report," he ordered his science officer. "Sir, our scanners cannot penetrate their hull. The ship appears to be made of materials we don't recognize." Admiral Vextar frowned. This was unusual, but not impossible. "Fire a warning shot, something weak, just enough to show them we're serious." A beam of blue energy shot from the Imperial ship and struck the Liberty's hull. The crew held their breath, waiting for damage reports. "What happened?" Jake asked. Lisa stared at her readings in amazement. "Nothing, sir. The beam just bounced off, like it hit a mirror." "That's impossible," Ben said. "Those weapons should have cut through our hull like paper." On the Imperial ships, chaos was breaking out. Admiral Vextar's science officer was checking his instruments again and again. Sir, the energy beam had no effect. Their hull absorbed the impact completely. Increase power, fire again. This time, a much stronger beam hit the Liberty. Once again, nothing happened. The human ship sat in space, completely undamaged. Lisa was running diagnostics on their hull composition. Captain, I think I know what's happening. Our hull is made of titanium steel composite. It's designed to handle the stress of interstellar travel. But these aliens, they seem to use pure energy weapons. So? Jake asked. So their weapons are meant to fight against materials like their own ships. Lightweight, energy-conducting metals. Our hull is dense, heavy, and designed to absorb impact. Their beams can't do anything to us. Amy was monitoring the alien communications. Sir, they're talking to each other. They sound confused, scared even. Jake realized that humanity's simple, practical approach to building things had just given them an enormous advantage. While other species in the galaxy had developed advanced energy weapons, humans had built their ships like tanks. Admiral Vextar was now genuinely worried. In 1,000 years of conquest, no species had ever resisted Imperial weapons. He opened a channel to Imperial Command. This is Admiral Vextar. I need immediate reinforcements. We have encountered a species with unknown defensive technology. Request instructions. The response came quickly. Admiral, you will hold position and monitor the unknown vessel. Do not let it escape. A full battle fleet is being dispatched. Jake Morrison had no idea that his simple exploration ship had just terrified the most powerful empire in the galaxy. The Liberty sat quietly in space, its crew trying to figure out what to do next, while 3 Imperial warships kept their distance, afraid to attack something they couldn't understand. The age of human expansion had begun with a misunderstanding and a hull that was too tough to break. Admiral Vextar stood in his command center, watching the human ship float quietly in space. For 3 hours he had tried everything. Different weapons, stronger energy beams, even close-range plasma bursts. Nothing worked. The strange vessel just sat there, taking everything they threw at it. Sir, his communication officer reported, High Command is demanding an update. Vextar felt sweat forming on his blue-skinned forehead. In his 40 years of service, he had never failed to destroy an enemy ship. Open a channel to the Imperial Palace. The main screen flickered, and Emperor Caltheron appeared. The ruler of the galaxy was old, even by Zephyrian standards. His golden eyes had seen 500 years of easy victories. Every species in the galaxy bowed before his power. Admiral, the Emperor's voice was cold. Explain why one primitive ship is still functioning after 3 hours of attack. Your Majesty, this is not a primitive ship. Our weapons have no effect on its hull. Our scanners cannot penetrate its structure. We are dealing with technology we do not understand. Emperor Caltheron was quiet for a long moment. In 5 centuries of rule, no one had ever said those words to him. You are telling me that one small ship has defeated 3 Imperial destroyers? Not defeated, sir, but we cannot damage it. The Emperor's golden eyes grew bright with anger. Then you will hold position until reinforcements arrive. I am sending Admiral Nethra with a full battle fleet. 50 ships should be enough to handle one mysterious vessel. The transmission ended, leaving Admiral Vextar staring at the human ship. He had just asked for the largest military response in recent Imperial history, all because of one exploration vessel from an unknown species called Earth. Meanwhile, on the Liberty, Captain Jake Morrison was trying to understand what was happening. Amy Rodriguez had been listening to the alien transmissions for hours. Captain, she said, they're calling for help. Big help. I'm picking up references to 50 ships, maybe more. Ben Carter looked up from his tactical station. 50 ships? We can't fight 50 ships. Our weapons are meant for asteroid mining, not space battles. Lisa Parker was working at her engineering console trying to understand the alien technology. Jake, I've been studying their energy signatures. These aliens, they don't build ships like we do. What do you mean? Jake asked. Their hulls are light, made for speed and energy efficiency. All their technology is based on energy manipulation. But look at us. She gestured around the bridge. We built this ship like a submarine. Heavy steel walls, redundant systems, everything designed to handle pressure and impact. Amy interrupted them. Sir, more transmissions. The alien emperor himself is involved now. They're treating us like a major threat. Jake felt a cold feeling in his stomach. A threat? We haven't fired a single shot. I don't think they understand. That, sir. To them, any ship that can resist their weapons must be incredibly dangerous. Ben was running calculations on his computer. Captain, if 50 ships are coming, we need to make a decision. We can try to run back to Earth, but they might follow us. Or we can stay and try to convince them we're peaceful. Jake thought about Earth, about the billions of people who had no idea their planet was about to be discovered by a hostile alien empire. If we run, we lead them straight home. We can't do that. So what do we do? Lisa asked. Jake made another decision that would change everything. We disappear. Sir? Amy looked confused. Lisa, you said their technology is all energy-based. What if we could hide from their energy sensors? Lisa's eyes lit up with understanding. The experimental stealth system. We tested it in the asteroid belt, remember? It doesn't make us invisible to human sensors, but it might work against alien technology. Do it, Jake ordered. Lisa began working frantically at her console. I'm rerouting power from life support, weapons, even the kitchen systems. Everything except engines and the stealth field. The Liberty began to change. Its hull, already mysterious to alien sensors, became something else entirely. The ship's experimental stealth technology worked by bending electromagnetic radiation around the vessel. To human sensors, it created only a slight distortion. But to the aliens, who relied entirely on energy-based detection, the ship simply vanished. On Admiral Vextar's flagship, chaos erupted. Sir, the sensor officer shouted, the human ship is gone. Gone? What do you mean gone? It's not there anymore. No energy signature, no mass reading, nothing. It's like it never existed. Admiral Vextar stared at the empty space where the Liberty had been floating moments before. Expand the search. Check for debris. Maybe they self-destructed. No debris, sir. No explosion, no energy discharge. The ship is simply not there. 2 days later, Admiral Nethra arrived with 50 Imperial warships. She was known throughout the galaxy as the Empire's best military commander. Her fleet had conquered 12 species and destroyed countless rebel groups. Report Admiral Vextar, she demanded as soon as her command ship took position. The human vessel has vanished, Admiral. We have searched the entire system, no trace. Admiral Nethra studied the tactical display. Cloaking technology? Unknown, sir. Our sensors show nothing. No energy distortions, no gravitational anomalies. If they are hidden, it's by technology we cannot detect. For the first time in her career, Admiral Nethra felt a chill of fear. A ship that could resist Imperial weapons was dangerous enough. A ship that could become completely invisible was terrifying. Unknown to the aliens, the Liberty was still there, floating silently, just 2 kilometers from Admiral Nethra's flagship. Captain Morrison and his crew watched as 50 massive warships searched desperately for them. The aliens had no idea they were being observed by the very ship they hunted. Captain, Amy whispered, even though no one could hear them. They're scared, really scared. Their communications are full of fear and confusion. Jake Morrison realized that humanity had accidentally become the galaxy's most feared species, and they had done it without firing a single shot. For 1 week, 50 Imperial warships searched the system. Admiral Nethra grew more frustrated each day. Her ships had destroyed entire planets, but they could not find one human vessel. Emperor Caltheron sent angry messages every few hours, demanding results. Admiral, her science officer reported, we have scanned every asteroid, every moon, every piece of space debris. The human ship is not here. It has to be here, Admiral Nethra insisted. Ships cannot just disappear into nothing. What she did not know was that the Liberty floated just 200 meters away, watching everything. Captain Jake Morrison and his crew had spent the week learning about their enemies. Amy Rodriguez had cracked the alien communication codes. Ben Carter had studied their ship designs. Lisa Parker had analyzed their weapons and shields. "Captain," Ben said quietly, "I think I understand how their defenses work. Their shields are designed to stop energy weapons. Lasers, plasma beams, particle cannons, but look at this." He pointed to his screen. "No kinetic defenses at all." "Kinetic?" Jake asked. "Physical projectiles, sir. Bullets, missiles, railgun slugs. These aliens have never fought anyone who throws rocks." Lisa leaned over to look at Ben's data. "That makes sense. If every species in the galaxy uses energy weapons, why would you defend against anything else?" Amy looked up from her communication station. "Guys, we have a problem. The Emperor is sending something called the Extinction's Edge. From what I can understand, it's their biggest, most powerful ship. It's coming to destroy this entire solar system." Jake felt his blood turn cold. "Destroy the system? Why?" "They can't find us, so they're going to make sure we're dead. The ship will arrive in 2 days." Jake Morrison made the hardest decision of his life. "We're not running. If we run, they'll keep looking for Earth. We end this here." "Sir?" Ben looked confused. "How do we fight their most powerful ship?" "We use what humans do best," Jake said. "We think differently. For the next 2 days, the Liberty's crew worked in secret. Lisa Parker used the ship's manufacturing equipment to create something the galaxy had never seen. Long, dense rods of tungsten and steel. Simple projectiles with no electronics, no energy signatures, nothing the aliens could detect." Ben Carter calculated trajectories and velocities. If they could accelerate these projectiles fast enough, they would hit with the force of nuclear weapons. The ship's experimental railgun system, designed for launching probes, could be modified to fire these projectiles at incredible speeds. Amy Rodriguez monitored alien communications, learning the exact arrival time and position of the Extinction's Edge. Jake Morrison planned their attack, knowing they would only get one chance. The Extinction's Edge arrived exactly when predicted. It was massive, 10 times larger than any ship in Admiral Nethra's fleet. The dreadnought was 5 kilometers long, covered in weapons that could crack planets. Admiral Vorthak commanded from its bridge, confident that no force in the galaxy could challenge his ship. "Admiral Nethra," he transmitted, "report on the human vessel. Sir, we have found no trace of it. The ship has vanished completely. No matter, I will destroy this entire system. If the humans are here, they will die with everything else." Admiral Vorthak had never lost a battle. The Extinction's Edge had destroyed rebel fleets, conquered species, and enforced imperial will for 200 years. He began charging the ship's main weapon, a device that could turn planets into cosmic dust. "Charging planet killer," his weapons officer reported. "Full power in 10 minutes. What Admiral Vorthak did not know was that Captain Morrison was watching from directly above. The Liberty had moved into position during the night, using its stealth technology to remain invisible. Now it floated just 1 kilometer above the massive alien ship. "Lisa," Jake said quietly, "are we ready?" "Railgun charged and loaded, sir. 1 tungsten rod accelerated to 15% of light speed." "Ben, target?" "Reactor core identified, sir. Right in the center of their ship." "Amy, any last words from them?" "Admiral Vorthak is bragging about destroying the system, sir. He thinks he's already won." Jake Morrison took a deep breath. "Fire." The railgun fired silently in the vacuum of space. A simple rod of tungsten, no bigger than a baseball bat, streaked toward the Extinction's Edge at 45,000 kilometers per second. It was invisible to alien sensors, just a chunk of metal moving very fast. The projectile hit the alien ship's reactor core in less than 1/10 of a second. The impact released more energy than 100 nuclear weapons. The Extinction's Edge, the most powerful ship in the galaxy, simply vanished in a flash of light. The explosion was so bright that Admiral Nethra's fleet had to shield their sensors. When the light faded, there was nothing left of the massive dreadnought except expanding gas and debris. "What happened?" Admiral Nethra shouted at her crew. "The Extinction's Edge is gone, sir. Completely destroyed." "By what?" There was no energy, discharge, no weapon signature. What could destroy a dreadnought? Her science officer checked his instruments again and again. "Sir, I detect a single projectile impact, Something physical struck the ship at incredible velocity. Physical? You mean they threw something at it? That's impossible, sir. No species uses kinetic weapons. They're too primitive. Admiral Nethra stared at the debris field where the Empire's most powerful ship had been. For the first time in Imperial history, their ultimate weapon had been destroyed by an enemy they could not see, using technology they did not understand. On the Liberty, the crew was silent. They had just destroyed a ship 10 times their size with what was essentially a very fast rock. Jake Morrison realized that humanity's simple, practical approach to warfare had given them an advantage no one expected. "Captain," Amy said, her voice shaking, "I'm picking up transmissions from all over the galaxy. Word is spreading about what happened here." "What are they saying?" Jake asked. "They're calling us the species that kills with invisible ships and impossible weapons. Some are calling us gods of war. Others are calling us demons." Jake looked at his crew, these ordinary people who had accidentally become the most feared beings in the galaxy. "What have we done?" Ben Carter was studying the tactical display. "Sir, Admiral Nethra's fleet is retreating. They're running away from us." Through the viewport, they could see 50 Imperial warships fleeing at maximum speed. The most powerful navy in the galaxy was afraid of one human exploration ship. The age of human dominance had begun with a simple kinetic weapon and the element of surprise. News of the Extinction's Edge's destruction spread across the galaxy faster than light itself. On 1,000 worlds, beings who had lived under Imperial rule for centuries whispered the same words. The humans destroyed the dreadnought. Captain, Jake Morrison stood on the bridge of the Liberty, watching the last of Admiral Nethra's ships disappear into hyperspace. In 3 weeks, his simple exploration mission had become the most important event in galactic history. "Captain," Amy Rodriguez reported, "we're receiving transmissions from all over the galaxy. Dozens of species are trying to contact us." "What are they saying?" Jake asked. Amy listened to her headphones for a moment. "Some are offering alliance. Others are begging for protection. A few are asking us to teach them how to fight the Empire." Ben Carter was monitoring long-range sensors. "Sir, Imperial ships are retreating from multiple systems. It looks like rebellions are starting everywhere." On the Imperial homeworld, Emperor Calthron sat in his golden throne room, staring at reports from across his empire. For 500 years, no one had dared to challenge his rule. Now, in a single day, everything was falling apart. "Your Majesty," his advisor trembled as he spoke, 17 systems have declared independence. The Crystari rebellion has begun again. The nomad fleets are attacking our supply lines." "And the humans?" the Emperor asked. "Still in the same system, Majesty. Admiral Nethra reports they remain invisible to our sensors. Emperor Calthron had ruled the galaxy through fear and superior technology. Now he faced an enemy he could not see, could not understand, and could not defeat. For the first time in centuries, he felt afraid. "Open a communication channel to the human ship," he ordered. On the Liberty, Amy's equipment suddenly activated. "Captain, someone's trying to contact us. The signal is coming from the Imperial capital." "Put it through," Jake said. The main screen flickered, and Emperor Calthron appeared. Even through the alien translation system, his voice carried centuries of absolute authority. "Human leader, I am Emperor Calthron, ruler of the Galactic Empire. You have demonstrated impressive military capabilities. I offer you a place in my empire as honored allies. Share your technology with us, and humanity will be rewarded with wealth and power beyond imagination." Jake Morrison, a simple man from Texas, found himself talking to the most powerful being in the galaxy. He thought about Earth, about his crew, about all the species begging for freedom from this tyrant. "Emperor," Jake said carefully, "we didn't come here to fight anyone. We came to explore and make friends, but we've learned something about your empire that we don't like." "What do you mean?" "You rule through fear. You force other species to serve you. That's not how humans do things." Emperor Calthron's golden eyes flashed with anger. "You dare refuse my generous offer? I could send 1,000 ships to destroy you." Jake Morrison's voice became steady and strong. You already sent 50 ships and your biggest weapon. How did that work out? The transmission ended abruptly. Emperor Caltheron had never been spoken to with such disrespect, but he had also never faced an enemy who could destroy his most powerful ships with invisible weapons. Meanwhile, across the galaxy, the message was spreading. Amy Rodriguez had been broadcasting Jake's conversation on all frequencies. Every species in the Empire had heard a human tell their emperor no. On the mining world of Kepler 7, the enslaved Crystari workers stopped their machines. Their leader, Engineer Talvin, had been listening to the broadcast. Did you hear? He asked his fellow prisoners. The humans said no to the Emperor. If they can resist, maybe we can too. Within hours, the Crystari rebellion had begun again. This time they had hope. On the trade routes near the Galactic Rim, the nomad fleets received the same broadcast. Captain Morgeth of the Star Wanderer had spent 20 years running from Imperial patrols. Brothers, he announced to his fleet, the humans have shown us the way. The Empire can be beaten. Today, we stop running and start fighting. The nomad attacks on Imperial supply lines began immediately. Back on Earth, Jake's original message had finally reached human leadership. President Helen Martinez sat in the White House Situation Room, surrounded by military advisors. The message from the Liberty had changed everything. Admiral Collins, she said to the Navy's top officer, how quickly can we build more ships like the Liberty? Admiral Pete Collins studied the blueprints on his tablet. If we start now and use every shipyard on Earth and Mars, we could have 10 ships ready in 6 months. Make it happen. If there's a hostile empire out there, we need to be ready. Yes, Madam President. What about weapons? Captain Morrison's report suggests our kinetic weapons are highly effective against alien technology. Develop them. If throwing rocks can destroy their biggest ships, let's build better rock throwers. The construction of humanity's first true war fleet began that day. 3 months later, the Liberty was no longer alone. The UES Denver, commanded by Captain Susan Walsh, arrived in the system. She brought news from Earth and supplies for the Liberty's crew. Jake, Susan said during their first meeting, you have no idea what's happening back home. Every nation on Earth is building ships. The president says you've accidentally started the greatest military buildup in human history. We just wanted to explore, Jake replied. Well, now you're exploring a galaxy at war. The Empire is fracturing. Half their systems are in rebellion, and everyone wants to meet the humans who broke their biggest ship with a metal rod. Amy Rodriguez was monitoring communications from across the galaxy. Captain, we're receiving a transmission from someone called Admiral Vextar. He says he wants to surrender. Jake was surprised. The same admiral who first attacked us? Yes, sir. He's leading a group of Imperial officers who want to make peace with humanity. The main screen showed Admiral Vextar, looking much older than when they had first met. Captain Morrison, I have learned much about your species in these past months. You fight like no one we have ever encountered. But more than that, you fight for ideals we had forgotten. What do you mean? Jake asked. Freedom. Justice. The right of species to govern themselves. The Empire has ruled through fear for so long. We forgot there was another way. What are you proposing? Help us rebuild. Not as conquerors, but as protectors. Teach us to be better than what we were. Jake Morrison looked around at his crew, these ordinary humans who had accidentally liberated a galaxy. We'll consider it. But the days of empires ruling through fear are over. 6 months later, the first human galactic council met on a neutral world. Representatives from dozens of species worked together to create a new government based on freedom and cooperation. Captain Jake Morrison, the farmer's son from Texas, was chosen as the first human ambassador. The galaxy had learned an important lesson. Sometimes the most dangerous opponent is the one who fights by completely different rules. And sometimes, the best weapon against tyranny is simply the courage to say no. The age of human expansion into the stars had begun, and the galaxy would never be the same.